Welcome to PrepperNow.
Please, Lord, help me get one more.
All right, folks, welcome back to PrepperNow. Sorry I didn't do one last night. This is one of my driving talks, but busy guy, and I got to be able to get my sleep too, or I'm just not going to be able to function. So, on that tip, Prepping 101 basically starts with you. Try to be healthy, get a good amount of sleep, treat yourself well, and what you put into yourself, good products, good outcomes, okay? So, I want to talk about some ways to converse with other people who might be on the other side of things, but still reasonable. Now, I know this is a very, very small group of people, but there actually are some people that are on the fence and, don't really know exactly what they're going to do, or you might even just be in a conversation or, debate with one of your family members about things, and you have that one that's just, swings to the left and does all of the talking points. I want to talk about some of the talking points in a way that is pretty plaintive and they can understand. So the big thing that you will hear is how corporations don't pay their fair share. How, air quotes, the rich don't pay their fair share. And that somehow, we're going to tax ourselves into prosperity. That's all fine and well, but let's just start with some basic numbers, okay? Corporations. Now, this is nothing, I don't love corporations by any stretch of the imagination. I don't try to fight for them, but the fact is that corporations employ human beings, and human beings are just regular people like you and I. So there is a dog in this fight for just the average person on the street. Taxation of corporations in paying their fair share is a lot less than what you'd think. Many people think that corporations, make up some huge portion of the tax block, and it's really not true. If you look at income tax, it's over $2 trillion per year. If you look at payroll tax, where they take out your taxes from your payroll, that's at about just under 1.5 trillion. Corporate taxation is a little over 400 billion per year. Current rates. So really not that much. So when they're talking about lowering corporate taxes, it's not going to make a big dent into our tax bill. And when they talk about raising our corporate taxes, it's not really going to make that big of a difference on the deficit, okay? So let's just start right there. Corporations are employing people, and when they do, and you're heading into a recession, or you're heading into a economically tough time like we're doing right now, the thing they tend to do is to cut labor. This is what we're doing right now. They're getting rid of all kinds of people's jobs. Every day you hear about new companies that are axing 5, 10, 25, 15% of their employees. These are people that that are living down the street, that are losing their job, and are going to have to fix that. They're going to have to find new employment. In this administration, there have been 3 million jobs given to new neighbors. Native people, people that have lived here and are here in the right ways, they've lost about 1.4, 1.5 million jobs. So it's a 2 to 1. So right there, now why are they doing this? Well, they're paying less money to these people. They don't have to pay as much for the new neighbors than they do. This is happening all over. What do you think is really going on in Springfield, Ohio? What do you think is going on in a little town called Charleroi, Pennsylvania? I'm sure you've never heard of that. Well, what's that, Prepper Now? Well, Charleroi, Pennsylvania is a little town that has about, 4,000 people in it. Well, they have had an influx of 2,000% of new neighbors to come in, and they're experiencing the same issues that Springfield are. It's very unsafe to drive because people are going the wrong way down streets and smacking into people, and also people are having a housing shortage where the money that they used to pay for their rent now is doubled and tripled in some instances. There's a big food production company there. I forget the name of it, but big employer for the town, basically is the town. And what's happening? Well, people are being, let's just say that there's new hires and some of the people are not working there anymore. There's been a little bit of a changeover, if you will. Why are they doing that? Because corporations need to keep their bottom line in a certain way, because if not, they don't profit. Just came out that FedEx is going to raise prices by about 6%. Why is that? Protect their bottom line. Everything's going up in price, so they pass that charge on to you and I. Now, why does this matter? Because if you take the corporate tax and you raise it, they're just going to pass it on to you. There's really no benefit to raising or lowering anything. Now, there would be a little bit of a benefit to lowering, because that way they wouldn't have to get rid of labor, and your friends and neighbors that are employed by the megacorp USA, they wouldn't have to worry about their job so much, because, again, the first thing that goes when you're tightening your belt as a business or a corporation is labor. It's the biggest cost that they have. So do you see what I'm getting at here? We can sit there and demonize corporations all we want. Trust me, I could do it all day long. I'm no fan of what they are. But when the regime comes out and starts to say things like we need to, make them pay their fair share, all they're really saying is we need to make it so your costs of goods go up. The prices you are paying today will be less than the prices you're paying tomorrow. The reason being is because we're going to, air quotes, tax ourselves into prosperity by raising the corporate tax, which they're planning on doing. And then they're doing other things. They're planning on taxing unrealized gains by 25%. Now, whether this goes through Congress or not is the big question. My mom had a good point. Talked to my parents. I said, well, we really got to take the house, because that's where the spending bills come from. She's right. We really do. And so far, looking like it's, about where it's been, about 50-50. Senate would be nice to take as well. It was basically a little bit of a lean towards the left, but when you're talking to people, first and foremost, you have to do it in a calm way, and you have to have the ability to express some kind of statistics and facts that are really tough to beat. We can say, oh, corporate tax is something that we can really do to claw back some of the money that they're doing. You know, you'll notice that the regime has really come out and on the front said, you know, oh, these corporations, they've got to bring down their prices. That's all for the sound bites. Because in the background, they're saying, you know what, just go with us here, because we're going to flood the country with the cheapest darn labor you have ever seen. And sure enough, that is happening. The new neighbors aren't coming up here just only because they're getting a welcome package, if you will. They're also being placed into employment because these corporations know that they're going to be able to save on the labor. So paying a little bit more in corporate taxes in the end for them wouldn't be that big of a deal, because they will benefit on the back end with the saving of labor and paying people less, which does ultimately bring the cost down of everybody's wages, or the wages that we make, and then that makes the pressure get even worse on the general population. So I know there's nothing exciting about this video, but the fact of the matter is that no matter what, the corporations will win. No matter what, the regime that is in place right now will not do anything to make it so they do not benefit. And they can come out and act like they're all against each other all they want. They're going to get their cheap labor, and that's it. So, there you go. Taxation is theft. We all know that. Whether you believe it or not, they decide to tax us through corporations. It's all going to come on you and my eye. It's going to just be placed right onto our shoulders. So either you're losing your job, or your prices are going up, or some variation thereof is going to happen. All right, folks. Thanks. We'll see you on the next one.